It's been a minute, but we are back with another Rock 95.5 Top 5, and I have got a room full of people for this one.
More like top 7, I think, this time.
So it's like, I think there's 7 people in the room. Everybody's going to have a song. The year this time, 1983.
Wasn't born yet.
Nor I.
That's creepy.
Great year.
I think Mikey was just coming out of his
All
mom.
right, so we're going to go.
Wow.
That's true. I have my first vagina touched was that year.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
Facts. So we're going to go around the
definitely
room.
holy.
Everybody's going to pick a song from 1983 and tell us why it was the important song for them. All right?
Start that way.
We're going to start this way?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's change it up.
All right,
Junior
so we're
hasn't
going to go
picked a song.
counterclockwise around
Okay,
the board.
that works.
And that starts with my man, Pat Capone,
The man.
the killer at nights. Go for it. What do you got, 1983?
All right, so 1983, I was remembering when my buddy Rich came over to the party basement. You know, every neighborhood had that one basement where the mom would let you party because she figured if they're here, they're safe. And that was Charlie's house. And he had the biggest, coolest sound system. He had subwoofers. He had those big wooden speakers hanging from his ceiling.
And wooden panel walls to match.
He had wooden panel walls, and for some reason, a green thread that hung from the ceiling with a small brass bell that nobody could explain.
Love it.
And one day, my buddy Rich came running into the bedroom where we're all doing graphics bongs and drinking cheap warm beer. And he goes, "Man, you guys got to hear this." And it was a cassette tape that a friend of his in California had sent him. And it was Metallica Kill 'Em All.
Nice.
And so when we popped that in, we had never heard Metallica.
Show yourself.
Hello. How's everyone doing? Hello, wankers.
Chap Axman.
It's good to see everybody.
Chap Axman has joined us, so now we are 8.
1983.
That was his prime time, I think. That was his heyday.
Did you just have
Sorry.
this lying around? Yeah.
What an entrance.
New to the podcast this time, there is video. You'll definitely want to check that one out. So, back to Capone, you had
All right,
Metallica.
So Rich comes in. He's got a cassette tape. Now, the cassette tape was, like a TDK 90. You know how your buddies would always make a copy of a copy, and this had been a copy of somebody's copy, right?
So a lot of hiss.
Right, like it was like the first viral band was Metallica before social media. People made lots of cassettes and would send them to their friends, and that's what we got. And all the song titles were handwritten on that little J card on the inside, and they even tried to use a pen to make the Metallica logo on it, which was bad.
Right.
Somewhere Lars is seething.
And we that's $9. That was $9. We popped that into, man, and I'm telling you, Charlie had the sound system. Like, it would shake the earth. He spent a lot of money on this.
It was that Sansui.
Sansui.
Do you remember Sansui?
I think it was a Pioneer 1280. It was like 100 watts a channel. Oh, it was massive. And he popped that cassette in. And usually he had very nice albums. So, yeah, the sound quality usually is better at Charlie's. But, man, we popped that cassette in, and Hit the Lights came on. And that was it.
Yeah.
That changed everything.
I mean, that's a moment that you're not alone in that moment. So many people had that.
Right.
With that record. And I mean, and look what happens now. They play stadiums twice.
And we thought,
every city.
You'd be hanging at that, at a keg party outside, no more than 3 pumps on the keg, man. And we'd all be saying to each other, the thing about Metallica is you're never going to hear that on the radio. And it was true at the time.
Yeah.
But now.
You're going to hear it a lot now.
And here's Nothing Else Matters.
On Rock 95.5. Good one.
Hey,
So we got
played
Metallica.
Suicide now.
Let's move over to Maris from
All
the
right.
Morning Mosh Pit. What do you got?
So working backwards, of course, I heard a cover of this song first from Kill Switch Engage, Holy Diver. And that made me go, this sounds familiar. There's something to this. So I had to go back and listen to Dio's version, and oh, wow. There's that guitar solo that's right at the end of the song, and it just takes you to a different place. And then doing research on the music, as we always do, see the video. I've never seen a video that I'd never seen fit so well with a song, and I was just like, they really knew what the hell they were doing for this one. So, Holy Diver for me.
Holy Diver.
Holy
Now,
Diver.
so had you heard like even subconsciously, just in passing, the original before you heard Kill Switch?
I'm pretty sure I did because it was around. It was just there was something to it. It was like I know there's another version of this somewhere.
Right.
So had to go find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, Katie, what do you got?
So I'm a little bit younger than a lot of you. I don't know if you noticed. So this was 20 years before I was born.
You just call it the late 1900s, don't you?
I actually think I did at one point, and Maria was like, "That is not," because I think I called it the 1800s or 1900s.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that.
But for me, so growing up, I had Guitar Hero, but I had Band Hero.
Okay.
And I played that a lot because it was like the top 60 pop songs, but then also it had some rock on it. So I would grab my mom's tripod and duct tape the mic to it and then also play the guitar so I could sing and play at the same time.
Nice.
And a song that really stuck out to me was Mr. Roboto by Styx.
Nice.
That's such a good song.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites as a kid. And I think it also kind of sparked my infatuation with like androids and android people.
Okay.
And also I'm the kind of person, I like imagining stories with songs. So that was like my thing, was listening to that song and thinking of like little android people, which is very real to today now, which is kind of scary. But yeah.
How I first started to learn Japanese.
Yeah, that too. And now it's like one of my, like, I'm like obsessed with Japan now too. So
Awesome. That's a good one. And local. We love
man.
Styx being a
Yeah.
local band. That's awesome.
Yeah,
And you're an overachiever there by putting the microphone on the tripod to do both. I got it. I love it.
multitasking.
Awesome.
Mikey.
All right, Mike.
come over.
Mike. What do you got?
Hello. I gotta move that mic
You
up.
guys deal with all morning?
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Dude, are you like 6'4"?
6'4", yeah. Hey,
I
good
was
job.
just joking.
No, everybody says 6'3", but you nailed it. I am
Yeah.
6'4", yeah.
You're
Yeah.
really, really tall.
Thank you. My parents raised me really strict. And so my dad would go around the house humming songs all the time that I was not allowed to listen to. And he would go, and I would always go, Dad, what's that? And he would go, nothing. Don't put it on the Christian music station. I was like, come on, Dad. Turns out, shout at the devil. My dad told me later in life, too. Oh, man, I hope he doesn't hear this. He goes, if I'm being honest, he goes, my drug of choice was acid, and I did a lot of it. I was like, wow, Dad. Wow.
It just took a long time, but there's the street cred. Man.
He was
Damn.
like some Motley Crue. He would go around the house singing it, that Def Leppard, everything else, just humming it. And every time I'd ask, he'd go, don't worry about it.
To be fair, Motley Crue is saying to shout at the devil. That's a very anti-devil message.
Not bad. Yeah, I
Yeah.
should have
We
put
are
that one in my head, maybe.
Raising our voice at Lucifer.
Yeah.
All
Counting.
right. That's a good one. I mean, and again, another band where they were starting out, and look at them now.
Yeah, seriously.
Seriously.
Wow.
All right, Klinger.
There's almost too many records to choose from because ZZ Top comes in with Eliminator,
Right.
and I remember, and I do want to give honorable mention to Ozzy, to Maiden. I almost went with Pyromania, Def Leppard, with Rock Rock Till You Drop, but I'm going with Eliminator because at the time I was growing up in the 1800s. I don't even know. Like there was MTV, but
Tone.
ABC was it ABC that did Friday Night Videos? Friday Night Videos.
None of us were alive then. We don't
Yeah,
know.
I think it was.
In
It was,
1983,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and I remember we had just gotten a Hitachi VCR, the top loader.
Right.
And dude, this was so hi-fi at the time.
With the green numbers on the
Dude,
dial.
100%. And the yeah.
Yeah.
And so I remember staying up late and Friday Night Videos, and the video for Eliminator, or seeing the video ZZ Top with Eliminator in the video, and I was like, "This is so damn cool." And now you look back at it, and it's like, "Oh my god!"
So
So
what
cheesy.
was cooler, the band, the car, or the guitars?
Oh.
Because I mean that's
incredible?
I mean,
I gotta say the band, and I love that, and I love working at Rock 95.5 because we still get to play ZZ Top. And what an incredible band back in 1983. And to this day, I feel like, yeah, obviously there's been some changes in that band, but so damn good. And it was just because of the video that I got turned on to the band and ultimately an incredible record.
yeah, that is a good one. And there's so many hits off of that one. It was actually like ZZ Top Mark II because they had their Texas days.
Yeah.
And that really, when they had the MTV era
Yeah.
and Eliminator, kind of broke them into an entirely new audience.
I feel like I was part of that new audience,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Big fan of ZZ Top. Would you say that you're a ZZ Bottom?
My favorite response to anything she's ever said.
That was fucking incredible.
What's also funny is just looking over here and seeing Chap Axman.
Just sitting here.
I'll have my moment. Hold on.
You come over here, Chap.
Yeah, actually, I kind of want you to go next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Get in
need
there,
cons. Thanks for having me. It's good to see everybody in one place. So the year started strong. It was January. It was a band called Journey. They released something called Separate Ways.
Oh yeah.
And
Nice.
I know that turns you on, pianist.
Yes.
Is
Keyboard
your
player,
white
yeah.
keys getting chuffed? Because when you hear the beginning of it, the keyboards are just blazing. They're just killing it. And I was in a band called Lipstick Viper that opened up for a band similar to the band Journey is. And it was
But not Journey.
But not close.
Right,
It was
yeah.
similar.
Similar. Yeah.
They were called Far Gone. And I remember hearing this record and like, this is what music should be. First of all the components have their moments. You listen to it, it's like, yeah, the keyboards had a moment. Then you got the drummer has this thing. Neil Sean, of course, is jerking his guitar off like hardcore. The whole thing, and then it comes together at the end. It's just an absolutely brilliant song. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
But the video,
Oh, yeah, the video.
nothing was plugged in. Guys rocking a keyboard. There's no chords coming out of the keyboard at
It was
all.
a regrettable moment.
I'm like, what's going on with that?
Come on.
Yeah. But it wasn't as squishy as like, the other records that they do, like Lloyd's, etc. Okay, thanks,
It was
Journey.
a tough record. It is a tough song. And actually, my band, Stabbing Westward, tried to cover
You
it
in a
once.
band?
Yeah. And tried to cover it once in the studio. We were going, well, let's try
Sure, one no
to
one's
do a
heard
take
of.
of this. And it's a lot harder to do that song than you would think, just to get everything right. So I have mad respect for that song.
I agree.
Yeah.
So there you go. Journey,
There you
Separate
go.
Ways. Thanks for
Hey.
having me.
Hey,
Thank you.
hey, wait,
Chap.
what was the name of the band? Your band?
Lipstick Viper.
I can't believe he was able to remember that. Pull that out.
I'm going on YouTube
I remember
right
all
now.
of them. I remember all of them.
There are like 50 of them. All right, Maria.
Done. As we know, I've said many times, I grew up in rural Maryland, so rock music really didn't come into my life until later, with one exception. And it was a band that was usually known for guitar, but they did something different on this song. They did a lot of synth. We're talking Van Halen's Jump. Makes me want to run through a wall every time I hear it. It is the most motivating song of all time. That synth, the da 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 ba da ba. I'm inspired. I think we should play it in church.
What album was that from?
Come on.
Well, don't do this to me.
Easy.
Oh my God, I'm getting uncomfortable on her
Yeah,
behalf.
this is gonna,
That was rude.
this is gonna happen. This is
The
moment.
tone. I'm
Look,
so sick of getting toned.
Let's
all
turn it
day.
into a learning moment for everybody. Let's turn it
The
into a
the
learning
album
moment.
was 1984.
Where do you think the recall's gonna come from? I just told you that I didn't listen to rock music at that age at all, and that was an outlier song, and I'm gonna have the
So-
album just
So, all right.
Your
so
tone,
It's probably recorded
Maria.
in
probably
83.
recorded in
He's so
1983.
sloppy.
So we'll give him that. We'll go with that. So, all right, cool, great.
Alright, well,
Finally, she's gone. I always wondered how to get rid of her, and I just ask about an album, and she leaves.
That's it. Perfect. Now
That's the
we
secret
begin.
sauce.
Leave her out. What?
By the way, Journey Separate Ways recorded in 1982, and they actually played it on the road at Rosemont. And they said on Rosemont, back then it was called Horizon, by the way. It wasn't
Yes.
called whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
The state of all. Why is this thing so far down? Oh, that's right. Oh, you're back. Anyway, they said on stage, hey, we wrote this 2 weeks ago. We want to play it for you. So Chicago was the reason Journey Separate Ways. I just want to come back to me for a quick second. So everyone else was talking for so long. I got annoying. Anyway, 1984, great record.
I do love that record, and I do feel, and I love to hate that record. I think my favorite song off that record is Top Jimmy.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that. But it reminds me that I feel like Eddie got a brand new instrument, and it was the keyboard, and they had to lace it through the entire
Well,
record. And
you know-
I feel like they came on a little too strong with that.
Well, the
I
thing
love
was
song.
is that he actually was pianist first.
Yeah. Aren't we all?
So
But you know
growing
what
up
I'm
as a kid,
saying? Like-
growing up as a kid, he played that.
Yeah.
So like for him to jump to that and add
to
it,
jump.
Well done.
Nice.
2 for 1. So
Angel got his wings.
So for him to actually be able to pull out the synth and start playing that, it was like adding a new element to Van Halen. Actually, David Lee Roth, I didn't know this until recently. He said that on And the Cradle Will Rock from Women and Children First, 1980, that whole verse, that's not a guitar, that's an organ, a Wurlitzer.
That is interesting because I did figure it was a guitar because there are bands that have an incredible guitar player and the guitar can be made to sound like it's a keyboard.
Right.
So that's interesting to hear. It's the opposite.
So it's weird. So when you go back and listen to it after hearing David say that, I'm like, oh my God, you're right. I always thought it was just figured it was a guitar because it was, the third album. They hadn't introduced keyboards to Van Halen yet. And but then you go back and listen. All right. So he actually played keyboards first on And the Cradle Will Rock. So there you go.
So now it's a good song. So now we've decided that was a good pick. Okay, cool. Cool, you guys.
Great.
Dun, dun, dun.
Going back to 1983.
It came out in
1983.
It was in it.
I'm going to go with this band that had this video on MTV, which I watched religiously at this time. Would wake up, I'd have to go to school, but then I'd come back.
Hold on a second. MTV is television, Katie. It's called television.
Yeah.
And it wasn't portable. You didn't walk around with it. It was like on a thing.
MTV is still around. They just don't play videos anymore.
Oh, right, sorry.
And it just kind of elevated my thinking of what a live show could be and everything. Watching U2 play Sunday Bloody Sunday at Red Rocks. Yeah. That video just blew my mind with the flags. It was so great. And then to dive into that band and their history and everything that would happen following, 2 years later they play Live Aid and it changes everything.
Such a good record.
2 songs at Live Aid and they become a completely different band. But it all, for me at least, I know that it was on the third record, but in 1983 it comes to Sunday Bloody Sunday. And I also want to give an honorable mention to New Order and Blue Monday because that song, that track changed an entire different genre forever. So
was that Lowlife?
That was
record?
never actually on a record. It was on Age of Consent. There is a song called The Beach, but Blue Monday was always just a single. But those 2 records, for at least alternative-leaning rock, blew things out of the water, and to me, those are very important records from that year.
Our friends live in Colorado, and 2 years we went to go visit them, and I went to Red Rocks. It was in the wintertime, during the wintertime, so they were doing yoga at Red Rocks. They didn't do any shows.
Okay.
But I wanted to see it because of the video.
Right.
And it was, have you ever been to Red Rocks?
Yeah.
Dude, I've never seen a show there, but it was it was incredible only because I had been loving it from that record.
Yeah, it's so iconic, and so the first time I got
it's amazing, dude.
First time I got to play there, and you see those 2 giant things.
Whoa. First time I got to play there.
Yeah, those 2 giant.
Wait, you're in a band?
Lip service. What was it?
Lipstick Viper.
Lipstick Viper.
Oh boy. Van Halen's Jump, released December 21st, 1983.
Perfect.
We don't like your tone.
Please stop attacking me.
Nice. All right.
I have to be right.
So thank you for your time, everybody. Thanks for listening to another Rock 95.5 Top 5. We'll try to do these a little bit more often. We've taken about a year off, but we're back. What a great crew. So check it out, and thanks for listening to Rock 95.5.